his fat loss coach, nutritionist, former pro athlete, former U.S. Marine, but most important, a guy who cares. And I'm going to share something with you today that is going to be very fresh. And what I mean by that, very new, and is going to give you some additional insight into why so many people have a tough time losing weight, why so many people find themselves gaining all their weight back when they do lose weight, why so many people, to include universities, organizations, are just not clear on weight loss. Think about it. I mean, today more than any other time in history, there's more information about how to lose weight. There's more information about how to eat. There's more information that, the Whole Foods of the world, the Trader Joe's of the world, the organic sections of the world, but yet the waistline continues to expand and people continue to have major, major challenges as it pertains to their overall health. And so my goal, as always, is to share with you the truth and to back up the truth with modern day science that I know can help you out and put you in a position to win. Now, in my presentation today, I am going to talk about this thing called TriBioFix. And as I talk about it, it's something that we created and are making available to people. And it really is going to be a game changer because it speaks to the biggest challenge that so many people are facing around the world, and that is insulin resistance. It's real. The studies are there, and it's not just one study, there's many studies where you're talking about 88% of adults are metabolically unfit. That means that only 12% of adults are metabolically fit. Now, most people look at that word metabolically and they think they know what that means, but they may not know what it means. So let me share with you some information that I know will be quite helpful. And if you want to learn more, just email me. Okay, reach out to me directly and I can guide you, because we don't have a place as I'm recording this live where you can go to and sign up and get this thing we refer to as the TriBioFix report. So let me open up and just ask you a question. And this may be a new term for you, but the question is, do you know your carb threshold score, aka index? Well, the carb threshold index or score uses what we call a select biometric and health risk assessment. It also taps into our proprietary and scientific formula that identifies your level of insulin resistance or sensitivity. And, okay, and this is where it starts to get really fun. It accurately will tell you if you are primarily a fat burner or a carb burner. Now, in this report, you get that. And once you know what you are, then it's just a matter of time for you to be successful. You just got to follow the plan. Now, is this new science? No. We're talking about progressive science and technology that's proven. So one of the things that they've done for many years is when you go and get a stress test, when they're measuring your the ratio between the carbon dioxide and the oxygen that's going through the lungs, even though they don't tell you about this, they know if your body is primarily burning fat or primarily burning carbs. Now, the first thing that you want to know for this to all make sense is that the body is always burning carbohydrates and it's always burning fat for energy. Always. But it primarily will burn either fat or primarily it will burn carbs. So if it primarily burns carbs, you're a carb burner. If it primarily burns fat, then you are a fat burner. And ultimately, what you want is you want to be a fat burner. Because when you're a fat burner, you are maximizing your ability to drop body fat. Now, some of the most popular fat burners walking around are people who run marathons, and they're consistently running marathons. Now, some people can run faster than others, but the science is very clear. If you're running marathons, and I'm not sharing this so you start running marathons, but people who are running marathons pretty consistently, they're pretty lean, they're eating carbs, and their body is very efficient at using fat for fuel opposed to carbohydrates. And when you learn more and more about running, like long distance like that, you quickly discover that the ultimate goal is to be able to run faster than everyone else, but primarily using fat to fuel you for those 26 miles instead of carbs. Because what happens when you are primarily burning carbs, because maybe you're running too fast, in running, you will experience this thing called bonking. And bonking is when your body has shifted to being a carb burner, and you only have so many carbs stored in your body. And as a result of pushing that envelope, your muscles will totally just come to a halt. Like another example is if you've ever watched, like a marathon, and especially if you watch like highlights, the victory and the defeat, you'll see that sometimes a marathon runner who looks extremely fit does not have the physical capabilities to run and complete the marathon. So someone runs out and they grab this person, because when you're a carb burner, you're relying on carbs. And that puts you in a position where your body can shut down. Now, I'm giving this example, but the real focus on what I want you to get here is the importance of understanding that you're either a fat burner or a carb burner. Fat burners, okay, they don't have a problem losing weight. Carb burners, they crave carbs, they crave sweets, and they're challenged. Now, let's say that we have this scientific way of finding out if you're a fat burner or a carb burner. And once they do that, they can tell you, then what? And this is why you don't hear people promoting this. This has been around forever. And what we know is that if you're a carb burner, the likelihood of you gaining weight is 2.5 times more than someone who's a fat burner. So the number one predictor on if you're going to gain weight, right? So let's say I met you on January 1st. And on January 1st, you're like, so Robert, what's the likelihood of me gaining weight this year? And I say, yep, you are a carb burner, and you're probably going to gain weight this year. Then what would you want to know? You would go, well, how can I prevent that? Well, they don't have an answer for you, because that's not where the nutrition science has gone. However, we have an answer for you, because with our Diet Free Life methodology, what we know, and as I coach people, and we know that they're a carb burner, then we have them eat in a way where they transition, even though they're a carb burner, to primarily burning fat. You can navigate all of that with the composition of how your meals come together. And second to that would be the frequency of when you eat. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't know, and I'm talking nurses, nutritionists, dietitians, physicians, they don't get this. Now, there are some that do get it, but nowhere near what you would imagine. I give talks all the time to physicians, dietitians, nutritionists, health advocates, and these people think they know certain things, but unfortunately, they don't. And that's where people fall prey to the horror of being uninformed and being influenced by the misinformed, right? So let me give you an example. If I asked you what comes first, losing weight and then your fasting glucose gets better, or improving your fasting glucose and then you lose weight, it's the chicken and the egg. And then if you have an idea of that, because there is no wrong answer, then I would ask you, how much do you understand about the hormone insulin? because it does regulate metabolism of carbohydrates. It regulates the metabolism of fats and protein. And insulin as a hormone may be helping or hindering your body from being able to lose weight. And if it can hinder your ability to lose weight, it can also play a huge role in blocking you from keeping your weight in check, meaning you end up gaining weight. And a lot of people don't even know that there's 7 levels of insulin resistance. So let me give you a quick example of what I mean by this. Okay, so I want to set this up just right. A little over a year ago, I took on 2 clients, a husband and wife. The husband is 73 years of age and the wife is 72 years of age. And they had some goals that they wanted to achieve as far as weight loss and overall health. And when I did their original carb threshold score, they both had insulin resistance and they both were carb burners. Now, fast forward, after working with them for a year, they both have dropped a significant amount of weight, improved their body composition, and they improved their insulin resistance to where one of them is fully 100% insulin sensitive, and the other is at an extremely low level of insulin resistance. And what that means is that they literally could eat a fast carb like potatoes and couscous and rice and bread, pasta, and not gain a pound, because they now are in a place where they are fat burners and they have extremely low or no insulin resistance. I mean, just recently, I want to give a big shout out to Linda Patterson and Cindy Van. They both have done extremely well. They saw me do a post on Facebook, jumped on board, and I believe both of them are down like 35, 40 pounds. So I think 30, 35 pounds. And I can see through this report how they have shifted from being primarily a carb burner to a fat burner. And that's where you want to be. And it's so sad because a lot of people just aren't aware of this kind of technology. And we have the technology, and it's proven. It's literally the first program that can fix your biology so that you can maximize fat burning. So we give people a nutrition plan, but every month we recommend and put them in a position where they can update their report and find out where they are with their level of insulin resistance or sensitivity. We look at, are you still in fat burning? Are you a fat burner or are you a carb burner? Because you could be 1 month, you could be a carb burner. And if you are, then we have you eat in a way where you're maximizing your ability to burn fat. And then we do your test 30 days later and you find out that you're a fat burner. Then there's a little bit more freedom with the way you're eating. And then the next month you check it again. And let's say you've been eating with a little bit more freedom and you're still a fat burner. Wow. I guarantee you at that point, you have no levels of insulin resistance. You are insulin sensitive. So knowing how your body best burns fat is going to be unique from person to person. Knowing what your carb threshold score is only available through us. It's our formula that we've had for over 10 years, and we've improved it significantly. And that's why we're able to get so many people off high blood pressure medication. We're able to get them off metformin. We're able to put them in a position where they have a lifestyle that supports them, where they won't gain weight and they continue to feel and look their best. So if you have questions, feel free to contact us, send us an email, but I'm going to give you the finale right now. Okay. So I want you to think of burning fat as the metaphor for losing weight and being very efficient at it, right? So if you have logs on a fire and you add kindling to that fire, right? You add a little bit more wood, some scraps, then that flame is going to get bigger, which represents you burning more fat, you being more efficient at burning fat, okay? Now, with our methodology, we have a way of giving you the way you want your meals to be. And when you take those meals and you eat them, it's like adding kindling, it's adding additional wood, it's adding paper, it's adding fuel to the fire. So you're burning fat that much better, just based on the composition of your meals. But then if you're eating certain foods, let's say you're a carb burner, and you're eating what we refer to as fast carbs, pasta, rice, couscous, right? So we give you a full list of that. That's like adding water to the flame for that person who is a carb burner. Now, if you were a fat burner, like the two clients that I mentioned, they can eat cereal in the morning and they're not going to gain a pound. They can eat pasta. They can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because today they are fat burners. So in order to be successful, right, it helps to know where you are. You want to do some type of check. And so for over 10 years, we have been working on this and working on this and working on this. And now we got it down to a science. And in the last year, I have seen amazing outcomes. So we refer to this as the TriBioFix, right? Because it touches on three things. That's where the tri is. It's all about matching your biology, and it's all about getting the fix, getting a solution, and no more guessing. And when you can see that everything is improved, it's kind of like if someone has fasting glucose, like I was sharing with someone earlier today, one of my clients, her hemoglobin A1C, if this means anything to you, if you understand fasting glucose, you'll love what I'm sharing. It was 14.5 or 14.6. 11 months later, she's no longer diabetic. We're looking at 5.6. Fasting glucose was like 300 on average. Now it's like 105, 110. The weight is gone. She's much more efficient. And she was what we call extremely high level of insulin resistance when she started. And today she's extremely low. And right around the corner is she won't have any insulin resistance because she will have insulin sensitivity. Now, if this doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, especially for those of us who have lived life long enough, we want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We don't want problems, health problems to come into our lives that could be prevented. So I want to encourage you to visit, and you can learn more. Just go to TriBioFix.com. You can email me if you have questions. If you're a client of mine or Barbara Chris, then you can ask. And because with all of our clients now, we make available this TriBioFix report. We make it available and we look at it every month. And then we go over it with our clients so that they will have clarity on what's going on with their body and if they're moving more toward being a fat burner or are they find themselves kind of stuck at being a carb burner. Our report, like there's three things, and I'll let you guys go. There's three things that you want to know with this report. Number one, you do want to know what your biometric health assessment tells you, right? Everybody needs to know that. So we put it in a way where it makes total sense and it helps a person really understand their numbers. Then you want to know what your carb threshold index or your carb threshold score is. That score goes from 0 to 100. And based on where that score is, it tells us what your level of insulin resistance is or what your insulin sensitivity is. The best part about that is that once you know what it is, then the next month we can see if we're improving it or not. And you will notice that as you improve it, weight loss becomes way more efficient and you're way less likely to gain weight. And then I will say that, well, the third thing would be your level of insulin resistance, right? Or not your level of insulin resistance on where are you? Are you a fat burner or are you a carb burner? A carb burner could count their calories. They could do everything right. And that weight ain't going to move. We see it all the time. They can go drastic. Those are the people who run the keto and they run to all these different diets because nothing is working. And then they get a temporary relief, right? They get temporary success. And almost always everything turns around for the negative. Well, if you were a carb burner, right, that tells you exactly how we want to guide you and have you eat so that you can get the results. Yeah, it really is that simple. So remember, we're always burning fat. We're always burning carbs. The goal is to get to a place where you're primarily burning fat. And when that happens, everything else improves. Now, if you have questions about this, because I'll be talking about it again and again and again, because my goal is I'm not here just to sell you on a program, but to educate you and make you aware of what most people just aren't aware of. And trust me, when I'm sitting next to a physician on a plane, which happens a lot, when I'm doing a presentation for dietitians, nutritionists, personal trainers, I'm not just the average guy, right? I'm sharing real solid information. I mean, when Gold's Gym came to me and put me on payroll to consult them, and they're the world's largest co-ed health club, they came to me because they were looking for some solutions. When the big $100 billion a year companies like the Aetnas and the United Healthcares and the Anthems come to me or work with us at Stay Healthy, they are coming to us because we actually can help them and their constituents. And it's a win-win for everybody involved. So when you come to me or you work with one of our coaches, the goal is to put you in a position where you can win. And our TriBioFix is just another tool that we have that you can only get through working with a coach or contacting us, that can be the biggest game changer. And if you know the diet-free life methodology, then that puts you ahead of the game. If you're not familiar with the diet-free life methodology, a good thing is to begin with learning the diet-free life methodology. And so we make sure that you learn that so you get it all. And then you can win. Now, can you win without all of this? Of course you can. People who exercise like crazy, spend all kind of hours in the gym, will not miss a workout. Those people have used physical movement and activity to significantly help them with their biology and to deal with the insulin resistance that they're faced with. But not everybody likes to exercise like that, right? And my point, just to reinforce it, is like if you look at someone like a Charles Barkley or even like a Michael Jordan or Larry Bird, when they stopped playing pro sports, they put on a significant amount of weight. And when they were playing these sports, they didn't have the high blood pressure. They didn't have all of these underlying health conditions because they were exercising and so active. It shifted things in a way where even though they may not have been eating the healthiest food, their activity helped position them as far as how it was impacting their biochemistry, where they were much less likely to gain weight and to have health concerns. It's like I would see Floyd Mayweather Jr. when I was working with a ton of professional boxers. I would see this guy running middle of the night, running in the daytime, jumping rope, hitting the bag. But yet I saw him eating licorice and a whole bunch of foods that the average person couldn't eat. That was because his biochemistry was in such a place that it offset the damages that could have happened if he wasn't as active. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, do us a favor, share, comment, always go back through, but feel free. Our email is always provided to send an email to reach out, and we will answer any questions that you have. If we can help you, we will help you. You don't have to buy a program. You don't have to buy anything. A big part of our ministry or outreach is really being there for you, to inspire you, to encourage you, and to provide you with the clarity around nutrition and health and how to improve that will give you the confidence to experience a continuance of success. I'm Robert Ferguson, America's Fat Loss Coach. I appreciate you. And until the next one.